Oh, let me change the title real quick. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. Two, sure. I titled these Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day because it's a WTF ever. Without it being WTF ever. Um, so it's another day in this post new moon Capricorn year. This video isn't sponsored, obviously. It's a Starbucks cup with a Dunkin' Donuts K cup inside. Hey, Holly. If my internet holds out, I'm not doing the thing I used last time. I wonder if, so I'm using like a webcam function. Was it? What happened? Did my mom call? I don't even remember what happened. I was like, gotta go. Um, I don't even remember. This is the deck I was just using. I'm curious today. I'm curious a lot of days, honestly. I have both of my copies of the Astro Matrix Tarot. Oh. Oh, okay. So what ended up happening was yesterday I used, instead of doing the webcam function, I used the streaming function, or whatever. So there was a delay in between OBS and when it streamed. So when I stopped it on OBS, it cut it off. So yesterday I did a full whatever, and it was like a 10 to 20-second delay, I think. And so the last like 10 to 20 seconds of it were gone. I didn't because I had to go for whatever reason. I don't remember. I think I had to go to the bathroom, maybe. I honestly don't remember. And I ended it real quick. And then it was like, if you end it now, it'll stop the stream where it is. And I didn't I read it. It didn't register until after I ended the video. So that's what happened. There was a call or a text. What time was it? See, I don't even remember. Was I live late?
3 things that are stopping.
No, thank you. I don't remember. I don't believe it. Wait, was my mom coming? Was I live in the morning? I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. All I know is that I did a proper, I shut it down real quick, but then I did my saying and everything. It was evening there. So it was probably after work, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I ended it in OBS. Excuse me. And when I ended it in OBS, it just immediately shut the stream mid-sentence, probably. So yeah, that's what happened. The last 20 to 30 or 10 to 20 seconds. If I don't say it, it wasn't meant to be heard. So you didn't miss anything. But I'm using the webcam function today. So I don't know if it's going to do the subtitles. I tried to turn on subtitles. Do I remember what their secret was? I remember it was like the Emperor Death and the Ace of Pentacles, maybe. And then it was the Knight of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Empress. Because I was like, the Knight of Pentacles has to go through Judgment before they can get to the Empress. It felt like, so I believe it was the Emperor Death and the Ace of Pentacles. And it felt like as the Knight of Pentacles was taking the Ace of Pentacles through Judgment, something in Judgment happened to the Pentacle. And so when it reaches the Empress, and it was like that was the same transformed pentacle that was being presented to, or it was similar. Something similar was happening behind the Emperor. Excuse me. But that's all I remember. I feel like I remember but I don't remember anything beyond that. So sorry. Sorry to disappoint. Oh gosh. Oh goodness. Look who's at the look, it's the Emperor. This is in a different deck too. Hold up, wait. No, it isn't. Hold up. How is this not? Whatever card was at the top of this deck, I remembered it. So one of these is the one that I used yesterday. That has to be the Empress on the floor. Yep. Here it is. The Emperor of Death and the Ace of Pentacles. Because maybe it was because of the divine feminine Kali Ma energy with the Emperor. Something was happening to that Ace of Pentacles through Judgment as it approached the Empress. That's what it was. But now the Empress has gone AWOL. So now I'm gonna like, why did that deck look so familiar? I was so convinced that that was the one that I used last. Come on, I can't do this without you, Empress. Oh, here it is. I felt her with my foot. Ooh. Yep, there she is. So something was happening here that correlated to this. Excuse me. You just walked in the door. Good to see you too. I think I might be opening boyfriend applications because I had to cook and clean up by myself. And I'm so slow at a lot of things until I get like in a rhythm. When I get in a rhythm, I can do whatever. But I'm like, my feet were hurting because I was standing on my feet for hours between like cooking and cleaning. And then I was like, at the end, I was like eating and seasoning more. I was like, eat a little bowl. Because first I would just like eat a noodle or something. And I was like, I'm not eating enough to get a true taste of like what this is like. Qualified applicants only. I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm not announcing this. I mean, I'm putting it out into the universe. But you know, qualifying applicants only, please. Life is so interesting. I want to rewatch the 2023 video, or I want to rewatch the 2024 video because I'm curious. It's like, I feel like it's kind of sort of title card energy. I'm gonna try to like tone it down a little bit because it's like midnight, and I'm not sure how thin these walls are. Ain't nobody ever complained, but still, I want to be respectful. You know what I mean? So, what? I forgot. I don't even remember. If I rewatch it, I might. Sometimes if I rewatch one of my videos, I'll be able to like catch the same wavelength as I'm watching it. And then I'll be like, oh, this really good part is about to come up. And then I don't say it. And I'm like, I thought I said that like out loud, but I guess not. I was like, wow. I mean, it was a minute ago when I rewatched one, and I was like, wow, I really didn't say that thing. And again, like the same thoughts that came to my mind when I was reading it came back to my mind. I was like, oh, I know where this is going. We're about to get to that juicy part. It's about to get real good. My mind is about to be blown. And then I didn't even say it. And I was like, okay, well, mute this and do that. It's fine. The energy has passed. I've already shuffled the deck now. Oh, Ace of Pentacles is still down there, though. Knight of Swords is still down there. Three of Pentacles with the Ten of Cups. We gotta do some more shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling. So I'm curious. This is a curiosity today. Because as I was cleaning the dishes, finally, I had a thought of like, what's Patrick's secret? Because I don't think I have a secret. I mean, there are parts of my path and my journey that I may not necessarily talk about on here. But for the most part, anything I say on here, I do. Most things I say on here, I do. Because sometimes there are things that, like, I can read stuff that doesn't resonate for me. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. That's why sometimes I'll be like, oh, it'll unfold for you. Just ask for it to unfold for you, and the Emperor and the Empress will reveal their secret. Maybe you'll see it in a dream or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Ace of Swords over here. Ace of Swords over here, Ace of Pentacles over there. Ace of Swords, Ten of Wands, Knight of Cups. Did I mention the Ten of Cups? I don't think I did. It was the Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and then the Ten of Cups was under that Three of Pentacles. Different Ace, different Knight. And then the Four of Pentacles is behind that. Interesting. So I'm going to do it this side, that side. On the left will be what I say. On the right will be what I do. Sign in the Four of Pentacles. And I'm just curious, you know? That's why I'm just curious to see. It's also why this is a WTF ever reading. Oh, snap, it's a Matthew. How are you doing tonight, Matthew? It has been a little bit of time. Ooh, I saw this page once yesterday. And I'm pretty sure we saw the Three of Cups yesterday, too. It was the Ten of Cups, Three of Cups. Oh, snap. Ten of Swords, Queen of Cups, Page of Wands, Three of Cups. There's a lot of, like, difficult... There's, like... The Court of Cups is near difficult energy. It was the Knight of Cups next to the Ten of Wands. Now, the Queen of Cups comes after this Ten of Swords. Maybe it's an energy of like necessary endings, and the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Necessary endings. Aw. It's a little cold. You're making me feel all warm. The feeling is mutual. I'm wearing my magical AF hoodie because it's warm and it is very cold. King of Swords. King of Swords came out yesterday too. Queen of Wands though. And Judgment. So we'll see. I'm just, like I said, I'm curious. So I'll give this one of these. Two of these. Please nothing flip over because that is not the name of the game. And I'll cut it And then I'm just going to pull from the top. And I'll do it how I usually do it this side, that side. It'll be 3 in reverse, or 3 face down, 1 face up. For the pip cards, it goes 1 through 10. And then in the court cards, it's page, knight, king, and queen. So the knight beats the page, and then the king and queen beat the knight, and they tie for each other. And then all majors beat any minor or court card, but all majors hold the same value. So, look. Oh, snap. Do you see this? Do you see this? Wow. Hold up. Cool. That's just a little personal synchronicity for some plans that I may or may not have that may or may not involve an airplane. All right. So 2 and a cut. Let's get into it. What does Patrick say? Is this 1 card or like 3? And what does Patrick do? Ooh, we'll see how fast this video gets deleted. I'm kidding. This is what I say. This is what I do. So Patrick says King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. All like this is the highest you can get unless it's a major. But what does Patrick do? Hierophant. And it's the Lordship of Hierophant with the axe or with the Trishula. But let's get into the nitty gritty. 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 8 of Swords. 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 8 of Swords. And I'm a Taurus. Taurus, Moon, and Rising. I might as well be Taurus. I feel like a Taurus and I come off as a Taurus. So 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 8 of Swords leads to the Hierophant. This 8 of Swords came out yesterday. I think it was in reverse when it came out. And it had a message. I think it was one that was like faithy. Like even if you can't see your external surroundings, it was like it was blind to the environment around it. Now over here, we have the Magician, the Devil, and the 6 of Wands. Interesting. So this is what I say. These 2 have been coming up a lot lately, especially this and especially this. This is actually the reason why I went for this deck yesterday. And then the 6 of Wands. It's interesting that like this one kind of, the third card is the 6 of Wands that ends in the King of Pentacles. And then the first card over here is like the 6 of Wands. At least the Hierophant. And both of these are Taurus. Fixed Earth. Sorry. There's some stuff that's like, I'm like, oh, that's the wind. It's the wind outside. It's very windy and it's very cold. You've had a few tonight? I wish I had one tonight. I might go and grab one. I may you have inspired me to consume. Nope, no Oracle juice tonight. Just latte. Latte K-cup that I'm trying. So I've been kind of on the red, well, it's the pink velvet macchiato. and the red velvet, like the frosty red velvet donut and Dunkin' Donuts. And my mom saw a red velvet latte K-cup, and she's like, "I got it for you." No, on the box it does say if you want a bolder flavor, they said like do it at 10 ounces, but if you want it bolder, like do it at 8. I would do it at 8 because at 10 it was like watery. And also I put a little ice in it because I like them iced. But yeah, it is very cold here. So I will be right back. I am actually gonna go. I'll drink the beer because I want it out my fridge. It's been in there for long enough. Oh, this is still. We don't need that because it is recording here. Oh, all right. Oh, did you hear my knee? Go pop. Pop goes the weasel. Ooh. All right. I got a beer. You don't have to tell me twice. Maybe I should have went for the mead. The goose ain't giving me same. It ain't giving me the same. Well, we'll see what kind of oracle energy it gives me. I am a channeler of spirits. I'm kidding. Excuse me. I wish I had something good to drink. I do have some tequila. I haven't opened it yet. I got it when I moved in. So it's been almost, 7 months now. Crazy. Crazy. All right. So interesting. I don't know how to read this. Yeah, like both of these are Taurus energies. But on one, it's like the effigy of a bull. And then on the other one, there's the cows right there. Excuse me. Wow. So there's this might be working. It's fine. When I drink, I do so responsibly. So I appreciate it. I'm just kidding. So maybe this is about like creating things above the influence because of the victory that comes after the devil. And I feel like, yeah, that's what I say, right? We make our own choices and decisions. Well, regardless of whatever, we make our choices and decisions. We have the power to do this or do that, regardless of the external circumstances. When the internal circumstance is right enough, and again, that's like this energy. When the internal circumstance is strong enough or powerful enough, it doesn't matter what happens externally. So this could be what Patrick does. Internal circumstance overpowering anything in the environment. And then it's Hierophant energy. But it's this Lord Shiva Hierophant energy. I'm going to read it. Give me one moment. This is why I put my phone on the charger. Is this... I can't tell if this is even the right one. It is. This is the deck where the QR codes are different too. So, because on one deck, on the first one they sent me They're all the Fool. What the world? This don't pop up like it used to. Did everybody decide? Maintaining tradition, developing spiritual discipline. Patrick's been developing spiritual discipline. Makes sense. To make the mind obey you is a spiritual discipline. Representing traditional values and institutions, the Hierophant is the final leg of the triad seen in the Emperor and Empress cards. Interesting that we were just talking about the Emperor and Empress, right? The Hierophant is a mentor or counselor who provides you guidance and wisdom to face life challenges. He is the male counterpart of the High Priestess and occupies fifth place in the major arcana cards. The image of Shiva represents traditional values and the significance of spiritual and religious domains. The two half person represent that many people know half of reality and half is always hidden. Only the curious souls try to uncover what lies beneath. I'm just feeling curious. Okay, let me stop. Let me get over myself. Let me not. Because if what Patrick does is the work. That's my secret. I do the work. Even when it sucks, even when I don't want to, even when it don't even look like the work is worth doing, when it don't look like the work is working, I do it anyway. And then bam. It's the Taurus in me. I use the stubbornness for good. Right? Well, sometimes. I mean, how long did it take me to finally cook? Stubborn plus procrastination. Oof. That's why it's important for me to be at balance with it. Because the Pisces in me will just procrastinate indefinitely. The Pisces in me will convince the Taurus in me to be stubborn sometimes against the thing that I want. And I'll be like, yeah, I know I want that, but I don't want to have to do this. That was old Patrick Morrisell. Well, I say that was old Patrick Morrisell, but I've been eating so many sweets lately. But I cooked tonight anyway. And then, I don't know, after for some reason, I was like, I'm just curious, right? So, only the curious souls try to uncover what lies beneath. They also represent one's will to follow the path of sacred knowledge and wisdom. The temples in the background represent holy sanctity and the religious authority of the Hierophant. The keys he wore in his neck imply the balance between conscious and subconscious minds and disclosing ambiguities. The bull behind Shiva relates this card to the fixed zodiac sign Taurus and refers to stubborn nature, virility, stamina, and purpose in life. The appearance of the card of wisdom and spirituality reveals your spiritual realization and your will to follow the traditions on the path of knowledge. You might feel restricted by the traditions, but the card suggests you follow established structures and traditions. The Hierophant represents your core values and recommends that you must adhere to the existing rules and regulations. Oh, there's only one paragraph left. The draw of this card reveals that you are entitled to lead others, so learn everything about your chosen field for establishing your credibility. Be determined and focus on realizing your goals. Your determination and perseverance reveal that you are destined to reach the top position in your realm. Following rules makes you disciplined and organized in your efforts and ensures success in everything you do in your personal and professional space. So, thank you. I can do that maybe twice a week. Maybe. That's a strong maybe. Because like I said, I'm slow. It takes me so long to prepare everything. And then, am I going to fix the blur? I'm not going to fix the blur today. It takes me so long. A few more of these, and this is what my vision will look like. I'm just kidding. Back in the day, if I took off my glasses, my vision would be worse than this. I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah, maybe twice a week. I'm so slow at like preparing everything. Like I was on my feet for hours. My feet hurt. Then I had to clean everything. I was like, oof. So it's almost like what I say on here, I do to the 10th degree. Well, so far, we'll put these back and we'll see. Or like what I say, again, I take it and I make it my own. The things, how they work for me. Ba, 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 ba. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So these go over here. And we'll put these under here like this. So I'll do 3 of these, maybe. Why not? Is it really? So I wonder, maybe our vision was about the same. Oh, look at focus. My vision was bad. So, round 2. What does Patrick say? First card, second card. We've already got similar energies and the same card. So what I say, the sun. Now, we'll see what I do with this one. What I do, the 9 of Pentacles. Oh, okay, all right. If we can build me up, we can tear me down. It's fine. As long as we're doing it with the right intentions and honestly. I'm open. Let's see. This 9 of Pentacles actually came out for one of those years when I did my year-end words. Oh, wait. It was the 9 of Pentacles. It was the 2020. Because 2019 was the Lovers. 2020 was the 9 of Pentacles. And then like 2023 was the 10 of Pentacles. Or was this year the 10 of Pentacles? I don't remember. So let's see. So first, I say star. Okay. Well, first time with the star. Where am I at? What I do is the Magician. Okay. So I say star. I do Magician. Can y'all hear the wind? That is like really whipping out there. And then I say the Empress. I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff. 3 out of 4 things that I say is already major arcana. I say the Empress. I do the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, this kind of makes sense actually. And then, and I got minor Empress. So this is the part where I'm still like in my actioning. This is the part, at least so far, where I'm still catching up. Because the 9 of Pentacles is minor Empress energy. And then I say the Ace of Wands. I can see how this will give a sun. But I do the 3 of Wands. And then I end up at the 9 of Pentacles. I almost wonder what I say, Star, Empress, Ace of Wands, that culminates in the Sun energy. What I do, the Magician, the 7 of Pentacles, the 3 of Wands, excuse me, which culminates in the 9 of Pentacles energy. It's I almost feel like, I don't know if it's too much I don't know if I like work too hard, maybe. Or I try to do too much. It's almost like maybe I don't rely on like spirit, or I don't use my resources as well as I could. Maybe that is part of that 5 of Swords energy from the last one too, where it's just like, I'll take my little 6 of Wands. I got this. Then maybe that 8 of Swords is like spirits low key, like, hey, like I'm here to help, or like, hey, here's this opportunity. Hey, here's this thing over here, and I'm like, I got this. It's like, okay. My spirit guys be like, he said he has it. He said he didn't want any help this time. He said he could do it, so we're letting him do it. It's like he does realize that the thing that he's working for is like right here, right? Yeah, but there's some stuff there's a reason why He ain't jumped off the cliff yet. I never necessarily thought about that. Sometimes the Three of Wands is the fool that doesn't jump because he's like right at cliff's edge. He's just like looking, but he hasn't left yet. I need like a clarifier. I mean, I guess I don't need a clarifier because this is me and I know why I haven't done a lot of the things. So, like I said, going back to my words, it was the end of. I'm gonna grab this. Thank you. So, that was the end of 2022 for me. The end of 2022, the end of my allow year. Um, there were some things that I wanted, there were some things that I loved, and there was a little bit of this energy. There was high key big this energy, and I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, how about not? Because there was some more of this that needed to be done. But it's like there were things that I was growing and cultivating, right? There were things that I was doing. I was putting my lessons to use. I was utilizing my tools and my resources. And I put out, in some ways, I put out in a request. I put out a request. And when I saw that request being met in some ways, it freaked me out. And it was like in ways that I didn't even necessarily like, in ways that I definitely in the environment didn't even mention, in ways that I don't even know if I've necessarily too much talked about. Let's see. What has Patrick said about these? The Page of Pentacles, what has Patrick done or not said about these? The Four of Wands. Obviously, the Page of Pentacles will take it because the page trumps the four. So then, like, if I put this on this, even though this is more so like this side, because I'm clarifying this side, there were like things that, because there are like two pentacles from the 7 to the 9, right? So there were ways that I'm building myself up. It's like I hit minor Empress energy. And then, what, 10, Page, Knight, Queen. So in 4 more pentacles, I would be at pre-Empress energy with the Queen of Pentacles. And so again, there were just like things that experience highlighted and illuminated within me, and it led me to a year of expedition. So yeah. But you know, I feel like when I go through stuff or if I'm working through stuff, I like to talk about it. What I do love about this is though, like all of these cards are yellow after the Three of Wands, right? So first it was the 9 of Pentacles, so let's do it this way. There are yellow skies in all of these. So the sun is most definitely there. We're definitely in the energy of the sun, especially coming off of the yellow of this Ace of Wands. So both of them yellow between the Ace of Wands and the Three of Wands. But also it's almost like the Ace of Wands is more, it's closer to the ground because like there's not the same elevation difference between the water and the land, you know. Okay, I concede that one. That's I mean, like I literally said, that's true facts. That really did happen. And then I was like, oh crap. And then I also noticed that like I picked up some stuff, and I also noticed that like my self-love game, I mean, I've been improving it. I've been working on it since like 2019, 2018. And there's been multiple iterations of it. I think 2020 was also the year that I started to dip into my Sagittarius North Node, and the year that I started to work on my Chiron in Leo. And then it was what, 2021? Well, it was kind of the top of 2020. Kind of the top of 2020 when I started working on my Venus. So in that year was the activation of my Grand Fire Trine. But Venus had a lot of work. She needed a lot of work. She needed a lot of work. Honda Civic, one of my coworkers, he sent me a friend request today. He said that that's what he drives. He's like, I drive a Honda Civic. My car will be. And I was at work today. I went to the bathroom. TMI. Everyone uses the restroom. But I think I was heading to the bathroom or I was coming from the bathroom. I don't remember. And then like Twerk Like Tina popped into my mind. And then I come home hours later. I'm going through Instagram stories, and one of my good friends, her husband was twerking like Tina. I was like, oh my god. And then I replied, I was like, I was literally just thinking twerk like Tina today, and there he was twerking like Tina Belcher. So round 3, the tiebreaker. Apparently, what does Patrick say? Excuse me. And what does Patrick do? So Patrick says Queen of Swords. Patrick does 2 of Cups. Oh, obviously the Queen of Swords takes it, but she might be able to have this one. I'll stay at my 2 of Cups energy. Teal green, 5 speed. I have no color what his car is. I have no idea what color his car is. I don't know if I said that right. I feel like Queen of Swords energy has also been kind of present lately. But it's almost been like more of her shadow. And the shadow of the Queen of Swords is the one who struggles. The shadow of the Queen of Swords is purely contextual. The shadow of the Queen of Swords, in the way that I read it, in this specific way, because the Queen of Swords has many shadows, but the Queen of Swords in this specific way is purely contextual, because it's when she's developed a hypervigilance that's become unnecessary. She became hypervigilant for very good reason, because she had to be, like 5 of Swords energy. She had to do more. She had to be more. And she had to really enforce boundaries to be respected and to reach the position that she reached, to be the Queen of Swords, to take that throne and to be respected as a Queen of Swords. And I guess the swords dynamic is interesting because it's like if there's a divorce, say, or whatever, if there's a divorced couple, it's like the swords typically. Or like if there's an icy relationship, it's the swords. Where it's like if any of the suits have to stand for that, sure. But because of her separation from her king, it's almost like the Queen of Wands is similar. But it's almost like she really stands alone. Or I don't know. There's something about her that's like different and strong. Red 2003 Nissan Frontier. Matthew. I mean, maybe she's wanting to retire. You know? My first car, I haven't gotten it yet. The first car that I remember my parents getting was like a gray Mazda. That's all I remember. It was the Mazda, and it had the crank windows. That's all I know. I could have potentially had my first car in like 2021 too, but that didn't happen. And this one will happen soon. We'll see. Um, so yeah, the Queen of Swords has been coming out as an energy of like the world has changed. She doesn't need to be so hyper vigilant. She doesn't need to prove herself. She can afford to like calm down. So, although the Queen of Swords beats the Two of Cups, the Two of Cups has been like the remedy to most of this Queen of Swords energy. Because the Two of Cups is the one that would be open to meet something as is. If the Queen of Swords in reverse energy with Two of Cups, they would go upright. Well, I mean, I guess two, in order to be in a Two of Cups energy, they would have to go upright. Because with that energy, like the to meet someone, like the Two of Cups, this one is undecided. Purely because, like, as I've been saying and talking about the Queen of Swords, it's been more of that, like, realizing that things are different and that the same, again, tactic doesn't need to be taken. Like, you're respected. It's like the teacher who starts out mean and then they get nice, right? The kids already respect you. They're not going to be little monsters. Monsters. Oh, I thought you just took really, really, really good care of her. Cars are, well, never mind. I was going to say cars are forever, but that is not true of every car. So you must take really good care of her. You still got your first vehicle. Ooh. I don't know if that was her last vehicle or her first vehicle. But one of my coworkers was just talking about her last vehicle that she paid off and she gave it to someone and it did not work out well. But anyway. So let's see. Patrick will say Queen of Wands. Patrick will do Nine of Wands. We can gather that Patrick is doing his best, okay? And then Patrick will say Six of Swords. And Patrick will do Nine of Cups. Patrick's doing a whole lot of nining over here. And then Patrick will say Seven of Swords. Yes, he is that Seven of Swords before the Queen of Swords. But Patrick will do Four of Pentacles. Now, this Four of Pentacles, because of the last round, this is the Four of Pentacles that's needed to go from the Seven of Pentacles, to go from the Nine of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles. This is the Four of Pentacles to bridge minor Empress and pre-Empress energies. And if I was sitting at a pre-Empress energy, then this would tie. So, again, because this is like, it's giving me gray area energy because of what the Queen of Swords has meant, I'm going to take this as like, this is the four of Pentacles needed to reach the Queen of Pentacles energy. So it like matches, but then it comes down to the Two of Cups. Now this will come down to the Two of Cups for me, because obviously, like I literally just said, I've been building up to this pre-Empress energy within myself. And it's required a whole lot of self-work that's, I feel like, let's see, where would Patrick say this is? Four of Wands, we just saw that. And where is it actually? What is Patrick doing? Temperance. Thank you. I feel like I'm doing very well. And I literally just had this Four of Wands card, right? That clarified something, right? Didn't it? Yeah, it was the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. That literally just clarified that. Cool. So yeah, Patrick will say Four of Wands, and Patrick will be, Patrick, now it's at this Temperance energy. But that's also, I feel like temperance is interesting. It's interesting when you like, for me, um, and this kind of goes back to the first round, the Six of Wands, Five of Swords, Eight of Swords, where it's like it's about the internal foundation. And since I've been working on the internal so doggedly for the past few years, the external is like, in some ways, it is what it is. Um, but ever since, again, that same year, 2020, self love and love of others, our love for others, honestly, I've never really considered myself much in terms of like what I do for the future or with the future in mind. Because for the upper majority of my life, I didn't want a future. And I couldn't see one for myself. So there are a lot of things that didn't matter. Now, here within the past few months, honestly, I feel like maybe since I feel like when Venus retrograded Leo, it deposited a little something. When Venus was in Leo, it was on 11. When Venus was in Leo, it was on 11. When Venus went into Virgo, then it started to balance itself out. But since Venus, I guess Venus in Virgo, that makes sense. Um, since then, to varying degrees and um, for various amounts of time or for various durations of time, it's been in like, if it's a light, like first it was like it would pulse very infrequently and then it would like stay on. And now it's like trying to like, you know, like Queen of Pentacles, pre-Empress, like stay on. But with this temperance, it's a lot of like balancing. It's a lot of balancing. And making adjustments to my lifestyle. Again, it's almost like I didn't realize how much I didn't care. Like I knew that I didn't care, but within this past few months, it's like it's hit me almost in a different way. And I feel like I haven't thought about it enough to like cry because of what that means about how I felt about myself before. But I also know how I felt about a lot of stuff before, you know, which was like, so I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting. But I can see why temperance is here. Um, and I almost wonder if the temperance being here now goes back to the last round again, where it was like there are resources and there are things that are literally, there is sun energy that is up in the sky that's literally like the Ace of Wands is waiting to touch down. And I'm like, ooh, like, let me warm up a little bit, you know? Like, let me take it in first. Like, and I feel like a lot of times, and like I've been consciously navigating my journey for 5 years now. Um, and yeah, still 5 years. Okay. Because 2019, January, me and my journey buddy were like, we're hitting it hard. And in that, I've noticed when there are certain themes that come up for me to be aware of because there's an opportunity for expansion coming. I feel like at first I used to become like hyper aware of it during Mercury retrogrades. And it's because Mercury was retrograding water signs, and I would literally like sometimes through confrontation, sometimes through other stuff. It would be like something that I know I need to do. I was like, I know I need to have a conversation. Like one year, I had a roommate that I did not, it's not that I didn't get along with him. It's just like I couldn't sleep. And he was the reason why I couldn't sleep. So I was like very short. And I'm just like, because literally, I don't know how much sleep I got that semester. It wasn't much at all. Um, but and Mercury just so happened to be retrograding Scorpio. Um, and like I might actually, because I was going live at that time, so the videos might be on here when I was like talking about it. Um, and I was in meditation class, but anyway, like it was heavy on my, like first it was on my mind. I was like, I should try to smooth things out with him. Um, because he was open and he was vulnerable with me about some stuff. And I'm not going to say I was too sleep deprived to care, but it's like that was separate from the sleep deprivation, if that makes sense. And I'm just like, I'm a Pisces. Like, I love to dream. I'm a Taurus. I love to sleep. I love to sleep and dream, and I can't do either. And in that situation, many people would be at least a little irate. But anyway, um, something was like, first I had the thought, and then it started weighing up so heavy on me. It was like on my heart. And I was like, I need to be nice and I need to like smooth stuff out. And one day I finally like I opened up and I like talked to him a little bit and we had like a conversation. Before the semester started, I was like, oh, cool. And then, several months of no sleep later, I was like, so I had the conversation with him, right? And I'm like, okay, I had that conversation. I feel like things are smooth. I have accomplished my Mercury and Scorpio lesson or whatever. And then not too long after I had that conversation with him, his grandma passed. And I was like, oh my gosh. So at least like I'm glad I softened up and I'm glad that like I opened the means of communication before that happened. Because if he was experiencing that loss and then there was me, sour pants because he can't sleep, and especially like if I wouldn't have been in a place to even have that conversation to like know that he had gone through that, then who knows? Fortunately, I navigated my life in path. I heeded eventually. I pushed it off for as long as until it was on my heart. Like, you need to talk to him. And I was like, fine. Leave my ooey gooey Pisces center alone. I'm a cold Taurus rock. Taurians aren't cold, but if they don't F with you, then they probably are. They could be. I'm kidding. But yeah, a few days later, his grandma passed, and I was like, and then of course I felt really bad for him. But yeah, again in hindsight, I'm glad that I had that little bit of a nudge because regardless of the fact that I was going through what I was going through because of him, I wouldn't have wanted, like, I wouldn't have wanted to be like short or dismissive or whatever, like, and not know that he was going through that. Does that make sense? Because sometimes it's like, even if I'm annoyed or whatever, if someone's going through something, I can suck it up, depending. Um, so yeah, anyway, first was the lesson, then was the test, then was the trial, then was the reason why. This is the reason why. But after I went through a few of those and just like living my life and being on my journey, like I've started to, it's been a lot. in that area. And coincidentally, like maybe it is no coincidence that these are two almost drastically opposing energies. Like the Two of Cups is ultimate. Well, if we take out money, because someone can be very Two of Cups, but also very tight fisted or tight pocketed, right? Like these aren't mutually exclusive. But if we're not talking about money, like to be withholding, but also expressing, and then that temperance there. Maybe that's me. I'm doing the work to get ready within myself. So cool. I'm putting this one in the middle. So the tiebreaker wasn't really a tiebreaker. And maybe I just want to do one more. So that's fine. Oh, but back over here. So yeah, this is the shadow. This is where the shadow of the Queen of Swords comes in. Because it can sabotage what, like this Queen of Wands is the places like when we heal and integrate our shadows, right? I'll talk about how in a lot of decks, the Queen of Wands is depicted as having a black cat next to her, and that's her healed shadow. Well, that's her awareness of her shadow side. Depending on the degree, it can be healed, it can be cooperative, it can be whatever. But through that, there's like movement, there's momentum that opens up because the shadow isn't an opposing force anymore. It becomes more and more cooperative. But the Seven of Swords is almost like that sabotaging, self-sabotaging this forward progress and movement. Right. And then again, that's when it comes into the shadow of the Queen of Swords, when it becomes hard to make the distinction between when the environment is different and when it isn't, or when the environment is shifting and when it isn't. And again, the shadow of the Queen of Swords in this way is purely contextual, because if it's not a great environment, that would be a Queen of Swords upright. That would be the Queen of Swords doing what she needs to do in order to be respected, to be heard. She's establishing boundaries. It's only when the boundaries can come down a little bit and there's a softness and an opening that can happen, does that energy start to turn into more like a trauma response type of like, well, in the past, this is who I had to be in order to be respected. And it's like, okay, sure, but you don't need to do that right now. So you had an opera singer as a roommate. Did you love it? Oh, it was rough. Okay, never mind. My brothers would use like, I feel like before I left, they got more used to it. Maybe it's because they missed me all those years that I was gone. But they would be like, shut up. Because I'd just be like, and then I think my dad would be like, why are you back there like whistling so loud or whatever? I just like sing. I'd be in my room singing and whistling and making noise and apparently annoying people. So I was the annoying opera singer in my house. Oof. Sometimes quite literally. All right, last one. What did Patrick say? What did Patrick do? What did Patrick say? What did Patrick do? What did Patrick say? What did Patrick do? So Patrick would say, Page of Swords. Just be open. Patrick would do Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands takes it. Which again, this is interesting because we just saw the Queen of Wands over here. But the Queen of Wands was the introduction. Oh, it's in the middle. I mean, I literally just talked about it like 2 seconds ago. But there she was. Excuse me, right there. That's why I love, like, especially using the same deck. Because if I use the same, I mean, it's fine. So the Queen of Wands is going to take it from the Page of Swords. What have I said with the with the Page of Swords, though? I feel like Page of Swords is more like whenever I will talk about the Page of Swords or Page of Swords energy, Page of Swords is giving me this is literally page 2.0. Because here's the energy of the Queen who isn't able to move on. Here's the energy of the queen that can't see that things are different because she's so tinted glasses, like a black tint, like sunglasses. She can't see that it's lighter. She wears transitions. So to her, it's always shady. You know what I mean? She's forgotten the sunlight. She's forgotten the brilliance of natural sunlight because she's wearing her transitions. She can never take the shades off because her glasses automatically transition, right? But this is the page that's able to see that things are different and that's able to engage in a new way. This is the page 2.0 that comes after this Queen of Swords, like 1.0. Or this is the page in the next cycle. It's that beginner's mind. It's the one that's like, okay. And I think the Queen of Swords is pre-justice energy, right? I think it is not too strange that even in, I don't want to say even in the real world, but like just like how we have conversations about like updating laws because the internet and social media, like the internet is this whole new sphere of interaction through which that came after many laws, right, were written. And so now it's like, well, the world has changed significantly enough, especially in this sector. Do we need to revisit? Do we need to update? Do we need to rethink how we look at justice? Like people justice, not major arcana justice, obviously. But like, do we need to relook at it? Now, the Queen of Swords in reverse would be like, no, just whatever. But again, it's this Page of Swords energy that would be like, okay, well, yeah, like things are different enough. I can see that maybe there are similarities, but the reach isn't as whatever. This hasn't been observed well enough to come up with something that's actually fair, right? It's like if people who never use the internet were to regulate the internet. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you don't like, you wouldn't even have a basis to know what's on there or what you can do with it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't even know the capabilities. That's like trying to create laws in a place that you've never been. Which, if you talk about like moral, ethical laws, sure. But if there are locale specific laws that need to be written for whatever reason, you wouldn't know unless you go there. And all the laws that you do sort of create wouldn't necessarily bring any order to that situation. So you may think that what you're doing is bringing order and justice and whatever, but in reality, without eyes on the situation, the problems remain mostly unaddressed. And then there's frustration at the law because it doesn't it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Anyway, this is the Page of Swords. This is the Page 2.0 that goes beyond everything that they've known before. That was the Queen who struggled to. Now, what I do when I say that, I'm Queen of Wands. This one we'll have to look into. Not my little, with this Leo energy, this is my Chiron. Also, that Hierophant, I didn't even get all the way into it because I'm like, ew. But that would kind of sort of be my North Node in Sagittarius a little bit. Even though, honestly, I don't. That's fine. What Patrick say? Two of Swords. Patrick has said a lot of Two of Swords. This is Minor High Priestess. Patrick will do Two of Wands. One is at night, one is during the day. One is blindfolded, the other one is like intentionally surveying. Also very similar to that 3 of Wands energy almost, but with this being like a solid stop. I mean, unless dude is jumping from like a castle wall, which isn't the same as taking a leap of faith. Um, this is further out. Like you can see the cliff from here. But the eagle is up there. Okay. So maybe that's it. It's because the eagle is here. Maybe that there's a little bit of sight where there may not be, or at least, eagles as divine messengers or whatever. Because the Two of Swords is like, it's a place where it may be wise to pause and to tap into our intuition, because sometimes with the Two of Swords, there is no logical this way or that way. There's no logical reason. There's no logical explanation. You can't logic a pros and cons list to make a choice or decision. It's more subtle, and therefore, like, the intuition must be relied on. Maybe your intuition is going to give you like a nudge or an inkling that, hey, like something is going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but you can feel the shift in the transition in the energy. You can smell it on the etheric wind, air, and know that it's coming. But again, it's almost like sometimes it hasn't happened yet for you to like fully do whatever. So you wait. You do whatever you're guided to do in the meantime. Then Patrick will say, Ten of Pentacles. Okay, Patrick has been saying this is almost like Aksunade energy, low key. Some stuff is like shifting, and sometimes it do high key be that like things are about to shift in like it feels like unbelievably whatever ways, but it can be so easy to miss if you're not open to it. That's why ultimately Patrick says Page of Swords. Now what Patrick will do is strength. Oof. Patrick really does do a lot, doesn't he? Would Patrick say that he does a lot? The world. And then the Page of Wands. So maybe it's like, is this me saying that I do more than I actually do? Well, maybe this is like my world. This is like little world. Like that's a little globe, right? And this is like yin yang cosmic. This almost plays again more into that like the energy of like something good and something miraculous sort of coming. So maybe I like this. It might bias for me. All right, have a good. Oh my gosh, it is getting late. Have a good night, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wait, 1 second. All right, good night. I finished my drink. There is no drink tonight without Matthew. I feel like, so what Patrick will say, this almost goes back to like, because it's so big, that like Ten of Pentacles type shift energy, like that's the world that Patrick will say. But what Patrick will do is the Page of Wands, which is like in my own life. And it's with this strength, right? So let's see, how do I... This is my Chiron in Leo. I literally just mentioned my Chiron in Leo. Why did I do that? I didn't see the King of Wands. Wait, did I see the King of Wands? Was it lions? I saw lions somewhere. I saw lions. I know I saw the lions. I know I did. Was it over here? Hello? Why do I feel like I've seen the King of Wands? Maybe I'm thinking of the King of Pentacles. I felt like I saw something with lions on it, but I guess not. But I mentioned my Chiron and Leo. Was it the Nine of Wands? I don't remember. Um, this is the energy of my Chiron and Leo. I mean, I talk about it, right? I talk about the burnout. The burnout is real. I literally just talked about it a few days ago or a few lives ago, where I'm just like, sometimes it almost seems that I find more compassion on social media or more compassion on my social media than I see in the videos that I come across on YouTube. Or it's like, it's almost like social media is about like compassionate action. It's compassion with force behind it. It's compassion that speaks up. It's compassion that holds presence. It's compassion that does something. And then the compassion that I might see on YouTube is like, it's almost like thoughts and prayers. Like social media, and maybe it's the people that I'm friends with, but it is also symbolic or reflective of kind of what the world culture is now. Social media connects us and it enables us to be aware of the issues that we're like other people are facing. And lately, people have been like voicing their awareness and demanding change in areas of the world that may not even affect them. Like, this is the age of Aquarius that people were asking for or manifesting. But then it's like, I don't know. On YouTube, it's like, let's like, maybe it again, it's like, it's the thoughts and prayers. It's the don't look at it. It's an illusion. It's the matrix. It's not real. Just keep manifesting whatever. Like, but again, like social media, what the world has become is like action. It's like YouTube is the talk, real life is the action. But there are multiple ways to put in action. Like there are many things that are required in order to make something happen, right? You have the idea people, you have the what do you call like marketing, canvassing, um, what was that, like market analysis, whatever people. You have the executing people, then you have advertisement after you make it. Like, it requires all kinds of people, right? So who's to say that all of the YouTube thoughts and prayers aren't creating a world of people, of individuals within the collective that's like, hey, let's care for others in the collective. Even if it's not me, I care enough about you to do this for you or with you, right? And so this strength that's like, I'll say the world, but I'll do the Page of Wands, it's just like, it's a little like it is what it is. It's a little like it's up to us as individual human beings to care enough. And all I can do is the things that I can do within my life. And you can't make people care about other people. You can't make people do anything. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like just like I'm not in the business of being somebody's terrifying. Yeah, I'll get on here and I'll go live and I'll give my 2 cents and I may mention the things that I'm noticing moving. And yes, maybe I've realized the potential impacts that that might have. And although it isn't necessarily honestly what I want to do, it's like, whatever. It is what it is. Um, Also, the North Node in Sagittarius has been North Node in Sagittarius saying for long enough that it's like sometimes I can't like not say anything either. But it's just like the world is what the world is, and folks are going to make whatever choices and decisions they make, and we'll see. You know, I can make my choice, and everybody else makes their choice. And where the world ultimately ends up because of what we individually decide to do, and then how we come together as a collective to move things, that's what happens. And so, yeah, Patrick will Eight of Swords and just keep Six of Wands in and Five of Swords in his own whatever. Maybe that's a little bit of this eagle too, right? Oh, look, he's literally holding the world. Is he looking at the world? Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm just like, I don't know. I just get a little disappointed sometimes. Because, you know, it's like when someone cares a lot, and so you're like this person cares, like, you know, they're gonna do something or say something, or at the very least see the validity in what's happening, and then they don't. And it's just like, oh, okay, well. But I mean, isn't delusion literally the name of the game? Ignore your reality, pretend like it's not happening, and manifest what you want, and disregard the truth of what is. Then finally, what Patrick will say is the lovers. Patrick will say a whole bunch of this. Ten of Pentacles, the lovers, like, yeah, there's this amazing Ten of Pentacles energy that I see happening, but also can we like give an F about each other enough to like put some like power behind, at least at the very least, to put some power behind manifesting whatever it is that we're manifesting, to not manifest something as a distraction from what's actually currently happening. You know what I mean? Because in reality, it'll just get louder. Patrick will do the Ace of Pentacles. This is interesting. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty. I literally just said that Page of Wands is like Patrick being like, well, let Patrick focus on Patrick's life. Because, like, and that's something that I used to talk about too, especially more probably in that 2020 when that North Node Sagittarius came in, and it's like, because at that point I was what, a year and some change into my journey. I was watching and coming across people who are like, oh, I've been on my journey for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And then again, like to see the responses to the way in which the world was like, hey, I'm in pain, I'm hurting. When Gaia's like, hey, I am not great over here. Here's something that like, let me like, you know, you don't even have to diagnose this one. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's up. And then all of the like, we love Gaia, but we ain't gonna deal with like, we're not gonna actually do anything for her. Again, it's like it's very thoughts and prayers. And again, thoughts and prayers, they go a long way, but without any action to like actually make that happen, it's not like what's the point. But that's when it became okay, Patrick's gonna do what Patrick can do. And just earlier today, one of my friends is on, she's one of my DC friends that I was talking about whenever ago. There's an article on some website, and She was like, she posted to her story. She was like, guess who popped up on the website? And there she was, like, and then I'm pretty sure Biden was like right next to her. I was like, oh snap. But then she ain't even linked the article. I'm like, hello, girl, I'm trying to read it. No, that ain't. I don't know who this man is. Somebody. Hold up, wait. Some congressperson. In the New York Times. My friend's in the New York Times. She's amazing. Again, like, so that particular, she's the reason why I don't kill ants anymore. Because I remember it was 6th grade, there was an ant on the table, and we're like, ooh, kill it. And she was like, no, don't kill the ant. Like, ants, like, that's a living being also. And that really impacted me. And again, it's like people who actually care about people now getting in these arenas and doing stuff, mobilizing, seeking positions where they can actually, it's almost like there's the camp of like, let's throw the whole earth away. Thoughts and prayers, let's throw them. And then it's like, I don't know. But again, like detachment is how you manifest stuff. So detach from earth and detach from reality and detach from the things and the people who are like hurting, and then attach to what you want. Or no, because you did. It's like, what does a thought, what does a prayer, what does a magic, whatever do? Like, does it go anywhere? Does it do anything if we don't? Like, I get that we're not supposed to be attached to outcomes for all of the reasons that the Queen of Swords, Shadow, whatever. And is it easier for people to just completely detach because of whatever shortcomings we may have? Probably, because people are going to people. But it's like if you're a parent, right? And there's a child that you have to raise, but like you don't do anything to actually take care of that child. You don't clothe them, you don't bathe them, you don't feed them, you don't provide food for them. And from a detached place, you love them in word, not in deed. And you expect them to grow up strong and healthy and capable of, and then does that, it's just like, to me, it's like, where does the manifestation go? To the graveyard? Or it's just like, it's not to be attached to the outcome, but it's like, it's the love that people like talk about, right? That's the love and the power of love. But can you, and like, yeah, you can love somebody and like, it gets real semantic-y, but it's like, if you don't even like, if I don't know, it don't make sense to me. That's what this is. This is Patrick navigating. Here's Patrick's little eagle, and here's Patrick's little strength card. And then here's Patrick's little, this is Patrick and Patrick's world, following Patrick's symbol synchronicities and stuff like that. And Patrick's little Ace of Pentacles that gives Patrick this pre-magician, Queen of Wands energy. The Queen of Wands is the pre-magician because her wand is magic. She grows all of this. No water, no whatever, just sheer, like it blossom around her. The Queen of Pentacles is similar, but she tends to them. The Queen of Pentacles gives them what, like, she's the one that like waters it and plants the seed and takes care of the earth and stuff like that. With the Queen of Wands, it's pure magic. With the Suit of Wands, it's pure magic. So that's why she's like pre-magician. The magician that came out, Patrick was magician in somewhere. I don't remember. No, Patrick would say magician over here. Did the magician come out on the other side? I don't remember. Let me look. That's why I kept all these cards. Temperance came out. I don't think the Magician did come out on the other side. Oh yeah, it did. When the Sun won, there was the Magician. It was the Magician, the Seven of Pentacles, and that Three of Wands. Well, here's the Two of Wands right here with the Strength and all the cards I literally just mentioned, and the Pre-Magician, Queen of Wands. I think another thing too, it probably helped me that, like, I started my journey. I had my darkest night October 2018, January 2019 with my journey buddy. I was very intentional about navigating my journey. It probably helped me that I didn't get on YouTube until like what, closer to like June, July, August. So I journeyed my journey solo for months before I delved into how other people journey their journeys. And so for me, it's almost like because that was my path, it gave me an opportunity to connect to the divine in the ways that I connect to the divine, and to learn the divine and listen, and to like go through my stuff to learn and to start to develop that, like, so like this is what happens, or this is like the thought, the feeling, this is how I feel led and guided whenever I'm in a space of learning something, or whenever there's something that I need to know for when this thing comes up, right? And I think sometimes it's almost like school, right? Instead of learning whatever you would learn in school naturally, you go to school and you learn it how somebody teaches it. And maybe they teach it in a way that works for you. Maybe they teach it in a way that doesn't work for you. So you can think that you're a bad student because you don't perform well. But if you had a teacher who could take the time, or who had the time and the resources to teach you in the way that you learn best, you would realize you're not a bad student. It's just not it's not an environment that's conducive for your learning. It doesn't cater to you in that way. But spirit is there with all of us and it caters to us. But again, sometimes it makes it difficult when there's like this person who does it this way, and this person who says this, and this person who's like, do that. Especially if it's almost like I don't want to say one size fits all, but it's like, this is what, but again, like, it's also understandable. You know what I mean? If I have a platform or whatever, and I know what works for me, and you come to me, I'm going to tell you what works for me. I'm going to tell you how I operate and what I do. Patrick takes this one too. I did not put these in order. There is an order to this. There's the first card. These count together. Where's my second card? That's my second card. Oh, well, they were in good enough order. I'll do one more. This is just like a general. We'll take it back to the first one. We'll do the environment, the external circumstance, internal circumstance, judgment. Let's look at what's going on internally. Ace of Cups, Nine of Swords, Chariot. I feel like this is pretty much literally everything that I just talked about. I feel like I did not literally call it like burnout. That's kind of this. Ace of Cups, Nine of Swords, Chariot. Nine of Swords was that burnout. And it's like, you know what? The world is what the world is. We all make our own choices and decisions. And we all navigate our own paths. I kind of like this. I love this, especially going from the Queen of Wands. This is a fully cooperative shadow. This is a shadow that's on the same page. The shadow isn't causing problems anymore, or at least we're aware of it. The Queen of Wands is paying enough attention to her shadow that it's not acting up, right? It's not the one that's like, well, even bad attention is like, what's like, no, what is it? It's the same for people who don't mind being notorious because like there's no bad press. What is it's the saying that it's like even if it isn't good, it's still good because people are talking about you. Even if people are saying that whatever, they're like, well, at least people are talking about me, so I'm doing something right. It's like, okay, you do you. But it'd be like that with the shadow. Or that's how the shadow is, right? It reacts and it does things to get attention so that we, and again, like if you're on a spiritual path and spiritual journey, maybe even more so, because hey, there's your inner child, there's your this, there's your that you need to heal to be in the position to receive all the things that you're manifesting or to be whatever you claim to be, sovereign, whatever. To be sovereign, you have to be sovereign. And spirit will make you sovereign in more than just name. And sometimes that's some of the tests. Some of the test is, are you who you claim to be? You claim, even if like you don't tell people, if you claim it within yourself, it's like a king, a queen, an emperor, empress who doesn't want responsibility. And it's like, well, like you're the one that has to handle this. It's your kingdom, it's your empire. Like who else is gonna do this type energy? And that's the test from the universe. Like you said you were the emperor. Here's this problem. We need an emperor to sign off on it type of energy. But yeah, fully cooperative shadow. I've talked about it before. And that's like the Seven of Pentacles that came before all that other stuff. It was a part of that Seven of Pentacles energy. That's all the stuff that I had to do within me to even be in the position to minor empress and then four of pentacles up to the pre-empress. Like Patrick was a mess of 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 a mess. Mostly always a decent person, but Patrick internally mess of a mess of a mess. Hey Kirsty, how are you doing? Cool. The external environment, Four of Pentacles, withholding, Five of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. That leads to the Eight of Cups. External doesn't start great. Four of Pentacles, Five of Cups. But with this Wheel of Fortune, maybe it's changing. And then the Eight of Cups walking away. Things moving. The internal circumstance wins out. And like I said, like this is like the Eight of Swords that came out earlier. This is why that was the Hierophant. It's this judgment. This is also something that Patrick's talked about. When the internal circumstance is right enough, when the internal circumstance is solid enough that it overpowers the external circumstance. You can do the impossible if your internal circumstance is right. It's basically if you have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. It's an application of that energy. I talk about it and I do it. Basically, I do the stuff that I talk about and then I work on the rest of it. So that's my secret, I guess. And the other secret ain't so secret. Like I said, I've talked about it on here. I'm just like, and again, there's some parts of it that it's almost like if you really think about it, some of it almost seems like, but that's reality. That's so reality. Maybe that's another thing about the past few years, right? It's like when it comes to history, when it comes to movies, when it comes to anything but real life, we're like, how did nobody see this? Why didn't anybody do blah, blah, blah? Like, how did it get this bad? And then reality happens. And it's like, when you're watching the movie or when you're reading the history book or whatever, you're like, oh, I would never do this. This would never happen today. And then it's like it happens. And I guess maybe sometimes the wildest part is, but again, it's how people become their parents when they swear they never will, but they do. Because nobody wants to be accountable. See spiritual bypassing. See spiritual, a whole bunch of stuff. But that was the thing about the lovers and what Patrick says. It's like, it's our decisions and our choices. Like, it's like sometimes we want karma to be real and we want justice to be real and we want the divine to rule in our favor to supplement the things that we want, but we don't. It's like we want only the good side of it, or we only pay attention to the good side of it. And when karma or justice rules against us, it's a spiritual attack. Now, are there like spiritual attacks? Of course, like actual ones, but sometimes it seems that it's like, no, that's justice. That's karma. That's, you can't believe in it when it's working for you and then not want to when it works against you, especially when the divine tells you what you need to do. Like, I remember it was 2020. There were so many people that were like, it seemed that there were so many people that were like, the divine is quiet. Like, my spirit guides are so quiet. They're so far away. I don't have any guidance. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you talk to them, they know exactly what to do. Everyone that I talked to knew exactly what to do. None of it was easy. None of it was necessarily things that they wanted to do. Some of it was truths that they didn't want to face and they didn't want to hear. But it's like, you know what to do. What your guidance is supposed to tell you what you already know, but what you're refusing to do. It's like there's no further guidance, right? Like if you have an interactive instruction manual, like when you complete step 1, it automatically provides step 2. Then when you complete step 2, it automatically provides step 3. If it's not giving you your next step, consider, because with the Two of Swords, it could be many things. But maybe consider that, hey, maybe I haven't finished this step yet, and that's why I'm not receiving further guidance. But again, it's like that's not even necessary because we know. A lot of times. Sometimes we don't. And then again, that was more so 2020, but it's like we know. We just don't want to do it. And Patrick does his best to do it. Even he may procrastinate for a minute. That's Patrick's secret, I guess. He does it. He has those conversations with self. He looks at it. He analyzes it. He tries to see, and then he'll make efforts to be better and to do better. But if those efforts aren't met or matched, then he's like, he moves on. You know what I mean? Because I can't do anyone else's work for them. And I wouldn't want to. I mean, I gotta maybe if I reach a point in my life where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm good on the work that I'm doing within me for me. Let me go do someone else's work. That also doesn't work. So, and then I think sometimes, I think it's because I was so, like I told you, my friend, we met up with someone the last time I visited him. And he was like, what was it like talking to Patrick from 2017? And then he was like, if you could motivate like that person? How would you motivate them? And I was like, I wasn't able to be motivated before. I made conscious, intentional choices and decisions to avoid the things that I wanted to avoid, to not think about things that I don't want to think about. And I chose a life of misery intentionally, because at least that way I didn't have to think about the thing that I didn't want to think about, but I was literally impacted by the thing. You know what I mean? And the thing was my eyes. It was my eyesight. I was like, I don't want to do any research. I don't want to like look into it. I don't want to use resources, because if I use resources, then that means it's real. If I accommodate my life for this thing that's happening to me, that makes it real. Literally, while at the same time being affected by it. It's like it's already real. I'm living it. I'm living it. It's real. You know what I mean? But I was like, if I just keep playing video games, and if I keep doing this, and if I keep my mind busy, if I keep myself preoccupied, then it's almost like whatever. And that's what really, like, that's what kind of pushed me into my darkest night, is when my eyesight got so bad that I couldn't even play video games. And if I did, I was like walking off the edge, and I was dying, and I wasn't as good as I used to be. I lost my one coping mechanism that kind of like really got me through it. I remember there were times I didn't even want to play video games. I was like, I'm literally just playing this right now so that I can distract myself. Like I would literally want to turn the game off because it was boring, but I was like, can't turn it off. But when I lost that, I was like, that's for the, and I'm pretty sure that happened over the summer. That happened in 2017, because I got Final Fantasy 15 when it came out in like February of 2017, probably. Hey Google, when did Final Fantasy 15 come out? Talk to me. November 29th, 2016. February 2018. Hold up. We gotta find US release, okay? Let's get a US, because I thought it came out a few weeks after what was that, January? Horizon Zero Dawn. November 29th, 2016. I guess it came out in November. Oh yeah, I didn't start playing it until February though. I pre-ordered it and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play this. But then, or was it Monster Hunter? Anyway, after I beat Final Fantasy 16, there was an all-white screen. And I remember when I was playing it, I could see it and I could read it. But when I went back to it, I couldn't see anything. And like in that short of a span of time, like I know I was confronted with my, I spiraled that year. 2016 was 16, 17 was also dark. It wasn't so dark that I like was like I need to get my life together, but it was dark. Um, but yeah, like most of my life, I made conscious, intentional choices and decisions. I knew that there were resources on campus that I could use. The Disability Resource Center, I knew I could make an appointment at CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services on campus. My journey buddy was like, Patrick, I think you might be depressed. And I was like, I know. I'm not doing anything about it, but I know. I had so many people. I was fortunate in having a lot of people who loved me, who cared for me, who wanted me to do my best and be my best, who encouraged me. I didn't want to hear it. It was like, if you're not here for the pity at this party, I'm not listening. I was Taurus, stubborn in all the wrong ways. I was Pisces, deluding myself into like everything is terrible, even when everything is terrible, but at the same time, not thinking about it makes it not real, even though I'm literally suffering right now. I get it. I know that sometimes we have to be ready because that was me. I literally had to lose video games, and then I had to be on my own. I had to get that close to graduation only for it to fall apart. I was literally weeks away. And everything was just because of the real world. The real world post graduate life was what I was afraid of because I didn't know how I would do any of the things that I'm doing right now. But also at that time, I didn't know what I didn't know. It wouldn't be until 2020 that I found out I had cataracts and they could be removed. There were things that could be done. But I literally, again, like I was on my journey for almost 2 years at that point before I even got that solution. If my environment and my observation of my environment would be the dictator of the work of me doing the work, I wouldn't be where I am. My eyesight didn't get better. Of course I'm manifesting and doing this like healed eyes or whatever. It wasn't until I worked through everything that that was blocking for me that it was finally remedied. And then it was like whatever year that was, Bayonetta 3 dropped, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. There was like three games, Kingdom Hearts 3. It was Kingdom Hearts 3 and like all these sequels that I was waiting literally years for. And they dropped when my eyesight was at its worst and I couldn't even play them. I was like, I'm not even depressed right now. It just, for me, it happened that way. It ain't got to happen that way for everybody. I'm also stubborn AF. It literally took that for me, which is also why I'm trying to be on this. Like, I don't need. So now Patrick is doing the work so that Patrick doesn't need to be so pressed to do what he needs to do. That's why I'm trying to get better at, like, even if I procrastinate a little bit to do the things that I know I need to do, I do try to eventually do them before the universe forces me to do them. Because one thing I've learned is that I don't want to be forced. I'd rather do it willingly. And even if the universe, like, again, I've journeyed my journey enough to know when I'm being pushed to do something that's ultimately going to be for my, like, benefit. So even if the universe doesn't force me to confront certain things, I know that, like, at its conclusion, I'm going to be in a better place. And I want to be in that better place. So I choose to do it. For a reason, of course. For a purpose, of course. But me caring about folks, that's just because I care, I don't have to, it's not like care or you won't get your abundance. It's like, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's fine. So yeah, that's Patrick's secret. I don't know why. I was like, I finished. I was like, what? I don't know. Maybe somebody in my head was like, what's your secret? Like, how are you not whatever? How are you Eight of Swordsing everything, but not in a way that's like detached and that you don't care? Well, this is a good one. Will Patrick say that he cares? The Five of Pentacles, no. But does Patrick actually care? The Three of Cups. But I care when it is energetically aligned. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just as Five of Pentacles, as Patrick says. Wow, Patrick is just as bad as the world that he talks about. And that's another thing. It's like, I don't know. There are some things to me that are just like convenient. You know what I mean? In terms of like, it's like we're all mirrors and reflections of each other. So if I'm going through this, then everybody's going through this. Or if I'm in this position, then everybody's in this position. And like to hold, and don't get me wrong, I am a supporter of embracing paradox. I am a whatchamacallit for it. I encourage it. But it's like on in one breath, we're all the same, in the same position, exactly whatever. But then it's like this is someone outside of me that's like projecting on me. It's like in some instances, we're all literally the same, but then we're not. Like I am more healed or I am more evolved or that person is unaware, they're projecting, they're doing this, they're like these shadowy robot matrix people, whatever. But then like literally like go back like 10 seconds, a minute in the video, and it's like we're all the same. In the same position, doing the same work, doing whatever. But it's not my belief, so you know. What would Patrick say? Let me stop. It's fun. What would Patrick say about that? Nine of Pentacles. What would Patrick actually, whatever? Ten of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, solo, only one. Ten of Pentacles, yeah. This is a belief. There is only one. Here's Patrick. It's a whole family. There are kids, there are parents, there are animals. I don't know. I don't believe that I'm the center of the universe and that everything is me. Again, I view it as like cells in the body. We got organs. First, we have like systems, right? Like the endocrine system and the digestive system and whatever. And there's organs make up the systems, and then cells make up the organs, and then the atoms make up the cells. Like we are all one, like all together, we are one. We are each one piece of this puzzle, but when you assemble all the pieces, you get the puzzle. I don't view the heart as the brain, as the liver, as the kidney, as the fingernail, as the, because, you know, if I did, I'd just be like, what, a blob, an amoeba? But even amoebas have like internal anatomy. I don't know why I would be. A drop of water. I'd be a drop of water in the ocean. But even water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. I'd be a molecule of hydrogen gas in a gaseous universe. I don't know. It just don't. Hold up. No. What does that mean? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Holly. Don't say it like that. I don't like that. What, oh, but I guess that's literally what I'm doing. What would Patrick say? What would Patrick do? Don't. Jesus was, I could never. We already see Jesus would say the world and do the world. Patrick say the world and do the page of wands. I just want like one more. What's another one? I don't know. I guess I'm done. I'm tapped out. It's been 2 hours. I can't think of anything else. We'll just do a final three, a final or a final four, I guess. I don't know. There are some things that I'll notice, or some not that I'll necessarily question, but there's some things that I'll like notice, and I'm just like. But again, at that point, different strokes for different folks. It's kind of my Chiron and Sagittarius. It's kind of my. It's a question, not a question. Maybe it is a question. I don't. A question of what happens. Oof, no, Kirsty, stop, stop. I will delete this video. I will delete this entire channel right now. Just gone. I'll pull a Rob. Don't make me pull a Rob Odinson. Scrub it from the internet. I'm kidding. I mean, I think there's an interesting question about the limitations of belief, the truth that we believe in. Maybe it's a question of, can we ask for more of the world than the truth that we believe of it? I'm trying to think of a way to like word it, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's a good like. And what does it look like? What does it look like when we ask for more from the world, from the divine, from the universe than the truth that we believe? Because I think sometimes it's like we can ask for something, or we can try to move in ways that directly conflict with the truths that we believe in. I mean, it's just a question, you know? Maybe even with people, right? Well, I guess you could still ask, right? You could believe that someone's not going to give you money, but then you'll ask anyway. Maybe you'll be surprised. But if you're not open to receiving the money, even if that person would offer it, if you don't receive it, it validates the truth that you believe. But I mean, from the outside, or in this example, you would, it could be easy to see, oh, well, like they offered the money, but like I didn't receive it. So technically, they didn't give me the money, even if they tried. Because I didn't receive it, they didn't give it to me. I knew they weren't going to give me the money. And it's like, girl, but like they offered it. You just didn't take it. So again, it's the question of like, what happens when we encounter the limitation of our belief, or what happens when we ask for something that lies beyond our belief? Maybe I'll pull some cards on it, but I want to do a final 3 of these. There are no sides here. There's just excuse me. On the left side, we have the King of Swords. On the right side, we have the Hermit. They're both, well, the Hermit is like, especially here. So the King of Swords is known, and the Queen of Swords are known to be like cold and icy. The Hermit is in that environment. That's interesting. So obviously the Hermit's going to take it. Let me see. I just caught myself. I was going to be like, suck on that, King of Swords. Or how do you feel about that, King of Swords? Because the King of Swords is like, I am the king in this domain. But the Hermit takes it. Your authority does nothing. Maybe that's this. It's like your authority does not extend here. Because even if the Hermit is out in the cold, the Hermit isn't cold. He may be cold in body, but he's not cold in heart. He's not cold of mind, and he's not cold in spirit. So this is like an energy of a certain type of resilience. It's almost like to be in the world, but not of it. This could be a truth that lies because the mind has so much control over what we perceive and how we interpret it. But this is a truth that supersedes the mind. It doesn't matter how gusty and blustery or whatever, the mind gets, this truth will stand. It will endure. We got the Hermit. What? This is the first card on this side. The first card is the Hermit, the Two of Cups, and the High Priestess. This is all under this King of Swords. This King of Swords is salty. It's giving salty energy. It's like, it's almost like someone who, when I say something, like sometimes I see it like a movie. You know what I mean? But it's like someone who someone who hasn't formed deep, meaningful connection. Someone who believes that they're elusive. But with this Hermit, like they're not even open to it. The Nine of this Hermit is very much giving me the Nine of this Nine of Pentacles. Or it's similar. Like this Hermit isn't open to making the types of connections or that it desires. It's like this Hermit doesn't actually head in this direction. The Hermit doesn't make any progress towards this Two of Cups. This is a Hermit that intentionally distracts itself. It's almost like every time it feels like it gets close to this Two of Cups, something will catch its attention out here. So that's why the Hermit is investigating, and now it's going to head away from the Two of Cups, wherever this is. So this remains under the veil of the High Priestess. Almost like a labyrinth in some ways. Well, the King of Swords would feel like it's a labyrinth, but it isn't. It's avoidance. Over here, we have the Two of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Seven of Swords. Interesting. With this Hermit. Is this a lose-lose? No. Remember how I was talking about this is a Hermit that even if they're in the cold, even if they're cold of body, they're not cold of mind, cold of heart, or cold of soul. This is almost like this was the King of Swords trying to exert his authority over the Hermit or trying to break the spirit of the Hermit, but the Hermit won't break. Right? This is the other Hermit, not the Hermit that was clarifying the King of Swords. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, is this a lose-lose? But it isn't, because it starts with two swords, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Life, Wheel of Fortune, and it ends with two swords. This is the Hermit that's like, regardless of everything that's happened or everything that's occurring, I haven't actually lost anything. Now, this kind of detachment would be one that's like, there's no ownership over another or whatever. So anything that this Hermit loses, this Hermit can't lose anything. It's almost like, do you think that the Seven of Swords energy would leave these two swords if they had a choice? Like, don't you think they would take all seven if they could take all seven? It's almost like the Hermit sees, oh my gosh, and it's literally this. Literally looking back at the two swords. It's like, wait, two swords are remaining? I started with two swords. I haven't lost anything. And then it's like the Wheel of Life is above it. Or the Wheel of Fortune is above it. This Hermit, like nothing can be taken from this Hermit. this hermit is in touch and in tune with that truth, right? It was the enduring truth or whatever. This is like some kind of power struggle type, I don't know. Again, King of Swords trying to exert an authority that it doesn't have. And the Hermit knows that. Now, if it wasn't the Hermit or any other major arcana, that King of Swords would probably win it. Because the major arcana is the only thing that would, besides another king that would tie for it, but a tie is not a victory. Not in this case. Because then you'd have to see who really wins. Like it never ends until it's over. There's a lot of ego with this King of Swords. And the Hermit doesn't budge. And I also love that this is at night, too. Over here. Because it's the moon, it's something internal. It's something within the Hermit. Again, that can't be taken. So it doesn't matter what happens to this Hermit. It doesn't matter what the King of Swords tries to do. No matter what this Wheel of Fortune spins out upright or in reverse, the Hermit will always have the things that cannot be taken. Doesn't matter. It don't matter. Crap, I messed up. I was supposed to be keeping these decks separate. Now I can probably guess. Honestly, if I look at the backs, at the QR codes, I can tell. I can probably remember. Oh, look, there was the Seven of Swords with that Queen of Swords. Not the Seven of Swords behind that Queen of Swords. She was the one that like self-sabotaged or whatever, right? Or she was the one who was stuck in her pattern because of what she experienced. The one who wasn't able to see that she doesn't need to do or be that anymore. And then we have with this King of Swords that was trying to play these Seven of Swords games. But the Hermit said, like, I haven't lost anything. You didn't do anything. It's one of those, like, I got your nose. And then you're like, give me my nose back. And it's like, I can smell you. If you took my nose, you'd be doing me a favor. But you're still here. So this is still right here. It's like, man, that trick usually works. Let's try peekaboo. It's like, I see you. This King of Swords is like, oh, this is tough. I used got your nose. I used peekaboo. This Hermit is unshakable. Everything has got your nose and peekaboo at a certain point. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? Queen of Swords. These are over here. Queen of Wands. Yeah, because the Queen of Wands was that empowerment that led to this movement. But for whatever reason, because the Queen of Swords can't see beyond all that she's already witnessed and experienced, this is it. Is this the answer to the question of what happens when we encounter the limitation of our beliefs? Or what happens when we ask for something or expect something of the world, the divine, or the universe, but it lies beyond what we believe to be true? And then again, after that Queen of Swords, came out the Page of Swords. And that was the Page of Swords 2.0. The page that saw beyond all of the limitations that the Queen of Swords saw beyond the pain of the Queen of Swords. Cool. So these were over here. These were over here. Oh, here was the Wheel of Fortune. It was the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune. Was the Eight of Cups that lost to Judgment. This was the internal, I guess. Maybe. I don't remember. But maybe that's why the King of Swords was so convinced. Maybe the King of Swords is like, well, when somebody else stole my nose, I freaked out. They still have my nose, right? Somebody stole my nose when I was 5 and they still have it. And the Hermit is like, what are you talking about? Maybe this is a King of Swords that's like, well, if you had gone through what I went through, then you would be exactly like me. And the Hermit is like, I'm not like you. And I've been through worse. It's Steven Universe. When, what was it? Change Your Mind. When Pink Diamond was like, stop acting like a child. And Steven was like, I am a child. What's your excuse? I was like, ooh. You ain't got one. There is no excusing your childish behavior. I saw somebody post on Instagram story a few days ago. I might be able to still see it. Because somebody like shared their Instagram story, and then it was one of those things where someone shares that somebody else shared their story. There's something like, I like social media in part, but there are still some things that I don't quite fully 100% understand. But I mean, I guess it's like we all got a sad story. You either gonna use it as motivation or an excuse. That's what it said on the story. We all have a sad story. You're either going to use it as motivation or an excuse, which is pretty much the energy of like when I was like, I'm going to call them opportunities instead of saying because this happened, like this other thing will happen. Misfortune is an opportunity for us to, yeah, this is what it was. It's an opportunity for us to do better or to do differently, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to choose crap. No. I think the Page of Pentacles was over here because there are a few of these where I pulled extra, right? But I pulled one from both sides. I think the Page of Wands was over here and the World was over here. Temperance was here. The Four of Wands was here because there's another Four of Wands over here. Right? I mean, I don't use these. That's fine. I'll just. There should be a Four of Wands over here. There it is. I'm going to look at the back. Because on the left side, every card is the Fool. Yeah, these are different. And these are the same. Yup. So here are two Four of Wands cards that are identical. You'd only be able to tell that they're different or that they belong to different decks if you look at the card backs, because the QR codes are different, right? But it would require at least another 2, maybe 3. How many would it require? So I know, because I'm separating these out, I know that this one came out on the left side, and these 2 QR codes are the same. So I know that this is the deck where all the QR codes are the Fool. Over here, here's another card from this deck, and they're different. So I know that this is the side. I could also use my phone to scan it. Page of Swords, the World, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Swords, with the Six of Cups behind them. This is the bottom of the deck over here. There's the world. I just had a thought. I don't have to say it. What? Say it. You can't say that you had a thought and then not say the thought. Watch me. I'm doing it right now. Want to see me do it again? If you wait long enough, I'll forget what the thought even was. I remember the thought. I don't know. It was just a little bit of a rude awakening, but it's fine. It happens. Again, people are gonna people. People gon' people. People gon' people gon' people gon' people gon' people. I'm putting these back and then I'm gonna get a final card. I feel like there was a question. Oh yeah. What happens when we encounter the limitation of our beliefs? I might grab a Lafruma. I feel like the Lafruma is robust enough to provide an answer to that question. Obviously, it depends on the person, right? It depends. It's that Page of Swords 2.0. Who's leaving? Oh, you going to bed? Good night, Kirsty. Kirsty. When Kirsty came up earlier, Holly was in my mind. And now I'm trying to say goodnight to you, and Kirsty is in my mind. It's because you said, Kirsty, have a beautiful day. And then it's because Holly said, hey, Kirsty. Or did Kirsty say Holly? Yeah, I was like, my brain got stuck on the words. Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. What? Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. What? Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. What? Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Knight of Cups at the bottom of the DECK. The KNIGHT. OFCUPs. I blame my mother. My mom is the reason why I sing demonic devices. She used to have so many of them. Just turn it into a song and you'll never forget. Ace of Swords at the cut with the Knight of Cups. The Ace of Swords was at the bottom of this deck before. It was the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. Ace of Swords, Ten of Wands, Knight of Cups. That's what it was. I remember. And then they were at the cut again. But you gotta have friends. And then there's the Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck now. Now that I'm moving on to put these back together. L-O-L-O-L-O-L-O-L-O-L. Excuse me. I don't think I played my clarification game over here. Let me see. Yep, that's the Fool. I don't think I played my clarification game over here. Over here. Over here. Here. Oh yeah, the question was, do our beliefs expand when we reach the end of them? Do they expand, or do they then form a prison that confines us from the very things that we wish to receive or see or welcome into our lives in whatever way? Interesting. Do your beliefs become a prison? You're asking for things, but you stand not in a place to accept the answer. I need to just like chill. I probably need to just take a break. I should wait until this new moon Capricorn energy. Like maybe I should wait until Mars gets out of Aquarius. Or is it Pluto? Pluto heading for Aquarius. This year, girl, I don't know. I kind of low key want to watch a bunch of or watch a few new moon Capricorn videos. Because I think, if I would have thought, what's the energy of new moon Capricorn? That new moon Capricorn, like I said, it felt karmic, it felt heavy, it felt like just desserts was being served. It felt like Pluto was like, oh, well, before I leave Capricorn, let me do a little something for you. And I'm like, ooh. And I just wonder, especially for readings that came out before the new moon Capricorn, I mean, energy is energy. It's timeless, right? But before someone was necessarily in it, because it could have read one way but played out another way. I'm just, like I said, I'm just curious. And not everyone's new moon Capricorn experience was necessarily the same, but at least then I might find the ones who resonate for me, right? Even though it wasn't my experience personally, I'm just and I talked about this before. I talked about that scene from Community where dude walks in, he goes out to get the pizza and he comes back. It was the darkest timeline. I talked about that darkest timeline Community energy before, where he came back and everything was on fire and burning. And he's just like, I just went out to get a pizza. But apparently there was a gnome or something. I didn't see the full episode. I literally just saw that in GIFs on Tumblr back in the day. All right, full deck. What have thee? Final card, please. Final card, please. Ace of Swords, the Hanged One. Two of Cups. This is a flipping of perspective. It's almost like this Ace of Swords requires a Hanged One energy to accept this truth. It requires a difference in perspective. And I wonder, obviously, cards are situational or contextual, especially when we read them with a certain context, then they can mean something that's a little different or completely different than what they usually mean, right? But I wonder I feel like every time I hear someone talk about the Hanged Man, obviously there's one that's it's waiting or it's stuck, it's stagnant energy. But I wonder, I don't know if I've necessarily ever heard it read as we need to change our perspective in this situation to get clarity. I feel like a lot of times I hear the hangman, it's someone who's already hanging. You're different, you're unique, you have a perspective that's whatever. So you see things in a different way. It's well, I guess if the hangman came out as advice, then yeah, it would be change your perspective. If you with a change of perspective may reveal a whole bunch of stuff. Does this answer the question of what do we do when we encounter the edge of belief? Or if we want to continue to see the truth, we change our perspective to a cups and we align it to this truth. If we can, Sometimes we pick truths that are convenient for one reason or another. Sometimes we'll believe a lie. Sometimes we'll commit to a lie if it's convenient enough. We can know something is not, legit, and still it's easier than facing reality, easier than accepting the truth, or easier than now the Ace of Cups is over here. But the Ace of Swords was over there. Was it the Ace of Pentacles earlier? Or I don't remember. Yeah, it was the Ace of Pentacles on one side and the Ace of Swords on the other. Now that side that was given Ace of Pentacles earlier is giving us Ace of Swords, and now this side that was giving us Ace of Swords earlier is giving us Ace of Cups. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. It's fine. Ace of Cups, Knight of Wands. There goes our Ace of Swords, Knight of Cups. Oh goodness. It's elemental musical chairs. Elemental, I want to say elemental mumbo jumbo. I don't know. They're doing the swapsies. Okay. Just final cards, final message. I'm supposed to be going to the gym. Ooh. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups, which is all about holiday, celebrate. So remember how I just mentioned we had the Ace of Pentacles on one side and the Ace of Swords on the other side? The King of Swords and the King of Pentacles both came out. Taurus, Aquarius energy. Jupiter in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, squaring at some point. No, Uranus is going to move out of Taurus before Pluto gets close enough to square Uranus. I'm like 99% sure, but maybe not energetically if you just look at the signs. When Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's going to be squaring Uranus in Taurus. I mean, the square will be closer to Jupiter, but Jupiter will be gone too before Pluto can exactly square. Pluto's just slow. Now, when Pluto was in Capricorn, it was a trine to Uranus. But now that Pluto's moving into Aquarius, the trine is turning into a square. But the Chariot is here. These two, not completely opposite forces, are working together. This could be where what is practical is also preferred. Because air can be like the ideal case. It could be the hypothetical. Air is the hypothetical, earth is the reality. It's where things might behave as planned. Where what is logical is also practical, right? Because maybe like logically it would make sense to do something that's not practical because of circumstances or situations, right? I kind of love this with that energy. I mean, what's in Aquarius? So Mars is going to be in Aquarius at some point. At some point, both Mars and Venus are going to conjunct in Aquarius while Pluto is in there, like February, mid-February, I think. Because on 24-25, Venus had like overtaken Mars. It was like Pisces season. I'm pretty sure it was like February 19th. Venus and Mars are going to conjunct in Aquarius, and Pluto's going to be in Aquarius. But I love that, like, this is a square type energy, but it's harmonious, or it's necessary for progress to be made. It's a good challenge. This is like when checks and balances, when the energy of checks and balances like thrives. Because you would want something feasible and realistic, and not just like an impossible standard or this ideal situation that will never happen with the King of Swords. I kind of love this energy. Or think something and do it, right? King of Swords would be the thought. King of Pentacles would be the follow through. Kinda. Cool. 3 cups is at the bottom of the deck. So like, even though they're different, even though they have their differences, they've learned to work together and they can be friends. The 3 of Cups, especially in the Pride Tarot, is a card of celebrating differences. It goes beyond just acknowledging them. It goes beyond accepting them. It celebrates difference because of what it knows, partially because of what it knows, what difference can bring to a situation. Maybe it's just partially because it's a decent human being type energy. You don't have to be me for me to value you and respect you and treat you like, you know, you deserve some kind of decency. You don't have to be anything like me. That's why, for me, this is full of rants. Well, it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. It's a WTF ever video. And it's the second one that I'm titling like this. Again, like, I don't know if you skipped it earlier or if you weren't here earlier. Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, every day, the letters that are capitalized, WTF ever. That means what the freak ever comes out, or what the freak ever I feel like. Most videos are kind of sort of like that, but here I proclaim it. So I give myself permission to just. Um, but yeah, one of my biggest like pet peeves is that like we have more in common than we do different. That whole approach to like human decency, I don't know. To me, it's like I have a healthy ego, but to me, it's so almost arrogant. Like, how arrogant or how self whatever do you have to be to believe that someone else only has worth or value or they're only deserving of whatever if they're like you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why does somebody have to be like you in order to be treated at least decently? Like, I don't get it. And it's so slow because now, instead of just learning to accept difference and learning to acknowledge and appreciate and all that, we have to go one by one by one by one by one with every single person apparently that we're not like, and find out how we have more in common or how we're more alike than the differences between us, when it's like that's doing it on hard mode. Like, that's doing it on like slower than tortoise mode. Teach people to be good people, and then it's like it doesn't matter. It's like if you teach someone to accept all differences, we have peace on earth in a day. If you teach people to find their commonalities with other people, people are constantly born. The world is constantly changing. But yeah, to me, it's one of those things. There are a few things to me that don't align with me because I can't put myself in the center of anything that much to be like, you only deserve respect from me because you are like me. Let me see if we're similar enough for you to deserve or earn my compassion and attention. And it's like, I don't know, it's wild to me. But I guess maybe that's a tale that we're not really taught to value each other. We got all the books and all the texts and all the scriptures that says love your neighbor as thyself and love one another, and but I guess at the end of the day it comes down to how similar we are or how many things we have in common. But that's people, you know. That was people back in the day. Let me not Queen of Swords and reverse the worlds. Because like I say, and I think deities, ancestors, God, the universe, for social media, especially in those times where it seemed like people just like really didn't care, or where people couldn't be bothered to care enough to face reality. Maybe that's, again, maybe it's reflective of how we live our own lives and live our own journeys. If we can't even look at the truth of the world around us and bring it to peace, can we really do whatever action is needed for us to manifest the lives that we want? Or do we treat that the same way? Ignore your shadow, pretend like it's not there. Do like in the shadow, it's so much about substance that it's like the shadow can tell if you're like really down to heal it and to listen to it, or if you just like say it and do whatever in order to like appease it. And maybe it'll let up for a little bit, but then it'll act out. And then what do we do? What do we do when that happens? Do we treat that shadow with the love that we've been whatevering? Or do we go back right to what we were doing before? Shut up, sit down, get out of sight. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. Get back in the closet. Go back to your dark place. You're ruining my tanning experience. You're ruining the view. You're ruining the love and light that I'm experiencing. And this is not the vibe. So if you can go back to being like repressed and silent and stuff, that would be amazing. And the shadow's like, but you just said, like, you said that you loved me. You said that we were healed. You said that we had like whatever. Like, what happened to all of that? What happened to a lot of stuff? I don't know. But I don't know. They're already in the cards. It was coming out with that wood dragon energy. It's like, don't play with a wood dragon. Wood dragon said, if you ain't about it, don't claim to be, don't pretend that you are, don't say that you are. Because wood dragon is like looking for workers. And so if you volunteer, wood dragon's going to put you to work. It's like you said you came here to work. You didn't say that you came here to laze around and try to collect a paycheck. Wood dragon's like, on your resume, you claimed that you had this experience. Why aren't you acting like it? And you're like, oh, well, I lied so that you'd give me the job. And Wood dragon would be like, well, congratulations, the job is yours. And then this new moon Capricorn happened. I'm just like, it's so Plutonian. Like the things that have been, and the amount of time, irrelevant. So it feels like it was an energy that's like you may think that you're out of the woods because the amount of time has been long enough that nothing has happened. New moon Capricorn energy, you knew better. You knew better, and this is the choice and decision that you made. Well, here's the action, here's the repercussions, here's the consequences. If you skimp on the foundation and the whole building topples, well, guess who's like held liable and responsible? Oof. At least we ain't back in the, I was gonna say, at least we ain't back in the Hammurabi days, where it was an eye for an eye. If a carpenter builds a house and it's not structurally sound and someone is lost in the rubble, then that will be taken from the one who's responsible. I was going to say, at least we ain't in Hammurabi days, but honestly, I don't know where Pluto is right now. I don't know what Pluto is doing. I don't know what's happening besides it's just like, it ain't the time to play. And again, that could also be a symptom of all of this 5D Earth that we're manifesting and doing this and doing that. We put ourselves in a global pressure cooker. But, we do the work. We actually do the work, so we'll be fine. We manifested peace on earth. We manifested 5D ascension. We manifested a collective age of Aquarius. And we're the ones who actually do the work, so we're going to get it, and it'll be fine, and everything's going to be amazing. Because now we're going to put in the action to make our manifestations and our dreams come true. Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn and Pisces can literally be dreams. Saturn and Pisces can literally be dreams come true. That could be the Eight of Cups energy. You're leaving the reality where your dream hasn't come true, and you're heading towards the one where it is reality, where it's more than just a dream. I tell you, people sleep on Saturn. It seems like more and more and more people have come around to Saturn in the past few years, but especially back in 2020, everything that I was seeing, at least, and I also understand, and even at that point, I understood that I was experiencing so much of what isn't my truth to put me in a position where I would North Node in Sagittarius. Because again, there is a certain weight of responsibility for someone who is a counselor, mentor, someone who guides, someone who puts themselves especially in a position to lead others. Just like the carpenter that builds the house. And it's almost like when you become a teacher, or when you become a professor, when you put yourself in a position of service, you owe it to those who you serve to do your best, to do whatever qualifications and certifications, to go through whatever approval processes, to do the work, to maintain knowledge of current best practices, to do your refresher courses, to keep yourself aware of how the world is changing and evolving in any way that's related to your area. Because otherwise, how can you guarantee that you're providing the best service that you can to the people who you provide that service to? You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's not a good example. That's not a good metaphor, because that's reality. And maybe for a while, people got away with, like, for a while, it was like abundance and uber wealth was like, how can you lie and manipulate and take advantage of people and get away with it? How can you do the tax write-offs and avoid this and avoid that? How can you take as much as you can and give and invest as little as you can? And I think sometimes I watched a documentary on ayahuasca on, like, Netflix a long time ago. And I remember the person was saying, he was like, a lot of people from Western cultures and civilizations come here to escape capitalism and the problems that they have, but they end up bringing their problems here. Now, plant medicine is commodified and commercialized to the point where the communities where it's like alive and where they regularly partake as part of their culture, like, they can't even afford it. And somebody was talking about how, like, quinoa has become so expensive or whatever that, like, the people who grow it, the places where it comes from, they can't even afford to eat it. We just, like, smear and spread our problems. But again, like, that's what happens when we don't actually address what's within us. When we go from one coping mechanism to another. Is there a word for, like, vice? We go from one vice to another. Because a coping mechanism to me is a connotation of something that helps get us through the rough times. A vice is like, that's something that we need. And it's something that distracts us, something that preoccupies us from doing what we need to do. Coping, sometimes we got to do it. Not necessarily bad, but a vice, It's like when we seek vices, now we have like spiritual vices, again, that don't always really help us solve our problems. But it's the nature of spirit to help us if we ask for help. So our vice, our vices can get us to seek assistance from energies that will help us, but we choose the vices that we pick because we don't want to handle, face, and address the things that we're avoiding. Or it's like, again, we like strategically, spiritually bypass, distract, do a whole bunch of stuff. And the root of the problem remains unaddressed. And then it comes back and it comes back and it comes back in waves. And sometimes it's dark night after dark night again, life aside, because life still happens regardless. And just because life is happening, like if there's an overwhelm at life that's happening, that's one thing. That's a different flavor of dark night than like I was healing this, but in all of my healing of it, I was actually just trying to avoid it, and I never actually healed the root cause. And so it comes back and it comes back and it comes back because it isn't addressed. We call it a spiral. We come up with a whole bunch of names and we say that this is how the world is. We say that healing is never done. We say that it will always come back. Well, maybe in reality, maybe you didn't actually heal it. Maybe you didn't actually address it. Maybe this isn't how it is. Maybe this is just what it has become because apparently that's what the world was, or that's what religion and spirituality was. And again, I feel like there are some people who are spiritual who can hold a discerning eye, a criticizing eye to religion. But if it's like that same discernment doesn't apply to their current spiritual practice, because it's like literally doing the same thing. Different system of belief, maybe, different tools, maybe. And that's people. That's us using our free will. That is our divine birthright. That may be our only divine birthright. Free will. Because anything else that is guaranteed by birth or whatever, free will can intercede. Again, free will can get us to refuse to accept something, to maintain the truth that we never get anything. The truth that, again, doesn't always account for, well, maybe you don't get nothing because you don't stand open to receive anything. It's offered. So let me get out my little Nine of Pentacles, whatever that energy was, and let me tap into the sun. It was like he was asking for it and it was right here. Mr. Oh, I got it. I got it. I'll do everything myself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I got this. I got this. Well, this year I'm declaring this. Like, hey, if you want to give it to me, and if it makes sense, if it's aligned, I'll take it. I've experienced my experiences of not being able to say yes to the things that I really want to say yes to while being freed of the things or the reasons why I used to say no. Now I'm ready to experience the yes. And I've done the work within me that I needed to do. And I've also made moves in my life. I've placed myself in circumstances and I've pursued situations that make me more comfortable in my ability to say yes. It was strategic. Oh, that was something else I was going to say. There's a confluence of energies. That's another sort of vibe, and it works off of the karma of like all this seemingly Plutonian energy as it's shifting into Aquarius. It's like if the divine is aware of literally everything, right? And for some, that's not a stretch. Especially when it comes to like balancing karma. If like major arcana, the divine is starting to like balance karma, judgment, justice, stuff like that. It's like just as there are pieces that may be removed from the board, there are other pieces that are going to be put in play. So it's almost like a grand shuffling, but again, it's a confluence of many things, right? It's like you've been working and building your foundation, you've been reinforcing and sturdying and whatever. Well, there's a piece, a brick in the Jenga tower, there's a foundation that's about to crumble. So we're going to move that one out because it can't support the weight of this moving forward in the future. But you and your foundation that you've been building, according to however the divine is working with you, you have the strength to withstand where something is right now, and also the strength to withstand its growth and its evolution and its development. Right? It's almost given that like electric vehicles weigh a lot more than non-electric vehicles. So the parking garages that were built, I can't remember what they're called in other countries, but it's like if you have a parking lot and it's multiple stories, that it's not built to withstand the weight of the new, cleaner vehicles. It was built to withstand the weight of what was the norm at the time of its creation. But you would be, because you've been working with that omnipotent, omniscient, all knowing divine, it's been preparing you for the future as you've been building up and modernizing your foundation. Also, if you remain open and you get your refresher training, right? You keep up with your certifications and your refreshers and all of that, your foundation will improve and strengthen as things move forward as well. But anyway, it was just that like from a bird's eye view, from the eagle eye view, it's that like the switching out of things. It was that energy, at least anyway. All right. It's been 3 hours. I have reached my quota, and it's like 3:30 in the morning almost. Luckily, I don't have to work tomorrow, but I only get 2-day weekends now instead of 4-day weekends. So can't screw up my schedule too much because I don't have the extra time to try to fix it. Plus, I'm supposed to be resting. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to rest. I'm not going to get off of here and try to play video games for a little bit because the One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 DLC Pack 2 second wave just dropped and I've only played one character. I'm going to go to bed so I can wake up and I can do everything I need to do tomorrow and then I can play the game after that. Obviously, my views and opinions and perspectives are my own. My truth is my own. And just because my truth is one, whatever, doesn't necessarily make it universal. And again, I understand that. But also at the same time, I think, and again, it's easier to see sometimes, a lot of times it seems, when it's outside of us and when it is on us. But it's like I feel like there have been times where I can see where it's like where a belief may not necessarily provide what is being asked for, or where a belief may not necessarily, or may not seemingly, where it seems that a belief may not provide the means for the fulfillment in like a practical, reasonable way. Practical and reasonable, obviously, outside of the influence of the divine, because the divine exists beyond logic and reason and realism. Miracle is real. Miracles exist. Anyway, thank you, Kirsty. What do you say, Laura Love? um, I will catch you, y'all, everyone. Hopefully not tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, I still haven't done Mars ingress into Aquarius. I haven't done Pluto and Aquarius. Where was it? I really want to rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch the end of 2023 video because I'm just curious. I can't even remember. Like, I feel like the only thing that I remember from the end of 2023 video was like everything that you learned, everything that you've been through, and like all the ways that you've healed and grown. Like, stand on that. That is going to be so pivotal and instrumental to navigating the next year. Because Wood Dragon energy was like very not playing no games. But we'll see. Oh, I just like tried to breathe and speak at the same time. And bodies don't do that. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever and whomever you need along your path journey and what you find. Yeah. You know, if it ain't me, I could stand to lose a few subscribers. So again, sometimes I'm just like, why is that number going up? Why are people watching me? Why? What brings you here? Let me stop. I don't know. It has, like I said, I mentioned earlier. I don't know. Even when I was talking to one of my friends, like way early in my spiritual journey, it might have been before I actually started it. I can't remember. No, it was after because I was reading cards, and then I found out that she read cards. I was like, "What, girl? What?" But also, she's been my friend in a lot of things. She's a Sagittarius. She's amazing. I went to her 30th birthday party with my mom, and was I telling her how she's the friend that I went with to get my ears pierced? She was like, I'm tired of you talking about getting your ears pierced and you not doing it. Our lab is canceled today, so we're going to go to the mall and you're going to get your ears pierced. Come to find out, she got another one of her friends' ears pierced and another one of her friends' like belly button pierced. I found that out at the party. And she was like, yeah, because they would all talk about them wanting to do it and none of them would ever do it. So I made them do it because they said they wanted to do it. And then my mom was like, oh, well, what has Patrick like encouraged you to do? She was like, nothing. Everything I want to do, I do. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. I'm there for her in other ways. She don't need me to encourage her or to force her to do the things that she wants to do because she just does them. She doesn't need support from me in that way. And I'm glad she doesn't. Because there are other things that I provide, you know. So anyway, why was I talking about that? For the Teddy Chef? Oh, I love Teddy Chef. I was like, oh my gosh, Teddy Chef was, I think, half off when I got it. Me? No way. I'm just kidding. I'm just like, I don't know, it's still like when I see the number go down, honestly, there's like a little bit of relief. I'm like, I just wanted to be, yeah, that's why I started talking to her. Or that's why I brought her up. Because I told her like early in my journey, I was like, there are certain things that I don't want to have to do. I was like, I don't want to be sought out. I don't want to be known. I want to be irrelevant. I want to be just a person talking about my perspective or what I'm noticing or whatever, and like nobody be there. And not that obviously not that I don't appreciate y'all, because I've met people, I've gotten to see people IRL that I wouldn't have been able to as easily. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have met, because the universe has plans. The divine has contingencies. So maybe it would have happened in another way. Um, like there was one person that I met locally at the store, at the metaphysical store, and she was like, "Oh, I almost took a job out at where you're working." I was like, "Oh, so if we wouldn't have met here, we would have met there." Um, the universe got us aligned our paths. Um, but yeah, I was telling her, I was like, I don't want to have to do this and I don't want to have to do that. Even when like around Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, that 2019, when I was in my meditation class and I was like, oh my gosh, I just did this. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I can't believe that in real life, I within me in this energetic system got the same answer or read off of the person as this other person. And then I can't believe that, like, I can't believe that this whole thing, like, it's legit, it's serious. And then I was like, wait, if I'm learning this, if this is something that I'm getting into, if I'm remembering this, am I going to have to do this? Insert the resistance. I was like, no, I'm not doing it, because I don't want to serve in that way. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be all up in people's energy. That's why I love cards, because I get to pull paper and I don't have to, like, I can be like energy peripheral, you know? I ain't gotta be like in it. But also there are some things that I kind of want to develop. It's like I want to, but then I don't, because I'm like, well, what if this is Chiron and Leo? Maybe I gotta get over it. Let's get another deck. Oh, I said I was gonna get Lafruma. Maybe I just need to get over it. But I'm like, no, because I don't wanna have to do this. I don't wanna have to do that. I don't wanna be a healer. At least not like, I don't mind sharing in these ways, but I don't wanna do that. And ooh, there are some things that here recently ish. Is Lafruma even over here? Where's Lafruma? Where did I put Lafruma? I don't think I put it back. Did I put it back? I'm not seeing it. I was just in here and I didn't see Lafruma. Where did I put Lafruma? Maybe I won't pull Lafruma. Lafruma is hiding. Lafruma said, I want not to be found. Leave me be. Fine. I'll do a quick sweep. I'll do my due diligence to say that I looked. And if I don't see you because you don't want to be found, then I will leave you. And we will end this video. It's going to already be pushing 4 hours. Oh, it's literally right here. Okay, I found it. But yeah, within this past, I don't know how long, I'm like, I don't know. There are some things that I guess I've noticed, that I've witnessed, that I've been noticing and witnessing. And again, it's just like, it's that world card with the Page of Wands. It's like, it's almost like I would love to see it done, but I don't want to have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I go to McDonald's. Because I want to eat, but I don't want to have to cook. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know. Is purpose something that's supposed to bring one? Okay, so Lafruma. What happens? Obviously, this is general. Obviously, it's going to be different for different people. But what happens when we encounter the limitation or the boundary of our belief? What happens when we ask or when we seek something that lies in a realm of truth beyond our realm of acceptance? All right. You are sufficiently so. Thank you. Wow. I was going to say you're sufficiently shuffled, so anytime you want to come out. Bottom of the deck is Lagu. The card that came out is Heartaker. Heartache. Throb. La Fruma said, heartache happens. Sobbing, throbbing, dark sparks grab hold of the heart, crushing the soul's freedom. Dread threads reach out with serpentined, hooked fangs that sink and pierce deep. Why, cries the choking soul, but the deep dark hole opens wider, and anger tangles itself around, cutting harsh lines into the flesh, victimizing us. It clings and wrings out each drop of love from every thought. Oof. Cosmic ocean of every emotion, ebbing in and out of everything, bottom of the deck. Collective memories rolling and reaching in and out of life, teasing and testing our inner resolve. Cosmic rivers know their purpose is to seek the greater expanse of ocean. There the water is different and the journey more thrilling. Let go, dive in, swim. Engage with the flow and live your fullest purpose. Stop drowning by fighting life's natural course. Did this mention drowning? No, this just mentioned sobbing, throbbing, being choked. The thing becomes poison to us, basically. And why wouldn't it? I left it open. No! I mean, there's nothing back there, but still. Oh, now I'm going to have to trim this last part of the video. Earth grab, earth strip, return. At the cut. So, La Fruma said that's what happens. Heartache happens. Because we can't flow in the ways that we wish. Okay, all right. Now I hope you have a great whatever whenever you see this. If not, I hope you have whatever you want to have. Usually I hope you have an amazing whatever. I hope you have whatever you want to have. If you want to have a great, I hope you have a great. If you want to have a miserable, terrible, I hope you have the worst. I hope for you what you want for you. And I also hope for you whatever you got to do to get what you want or to get where you're going. You know? I acknowledge, like I said, I've been that person where happiness, I remember so in, what year was that? Was that 2018? It was after I was an RA. Was it the yeah, maybe it was 2017. It was winter 2017. I went to a depression group, and in one of the first days, we were talking about our triggers or whatever. And I was like, happiness is my trigger. Happiness triggers my depression. And I remember this, I was like, what? I was like, yeah. So, and it was true. So that's why, there was some work that needed to be done to get me in at least minor Empress energy so I could, I won't say trudge my way to pre-Empress energy to and then I'm a Taurus moon and rising. Hello. Empress energy is in me, in my moon and in my rising. So but also, if you knew where my Venus was, if you knew my Venus's situation, it would make sense. It would make sense why Empress energy is so hard to get to. Also, if you probably just hear me talk about stuff, you would also understand. I literally just said that happiness is was a trigger for me. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to be, I don't know. Is Empress energy miserable? Anyway, it's fine. I'll catch you later. Bye. It's already been 3:15. That's not excruciating. I've done worse.